Drexwell Seymour is a certified public accountant and is the managing partner and founder of the HLB TCI accounting firm. Perhaps more importantly, Drexwell is a man on a mission to inspire, encourage, and influence others to overcome setbacks and systematic injustice and to find their purpose in life. To that end, he hosts a YouTube channel and, financially speaking, a weekly radio show, and is the author of the internationally best-selling Rise Up and Take Your Position, as well as the creator of a short film by the same name. Drexwell grew up on a small island in the Turks and Caicos Islands, where there were limited opportunities and terrible colorism, but he strived and thrived, eventually receiving a full scholarship for a BA in accounting to Wilmington College at the age of 16, and later graduating from Miami College with an MBA in finance. As he grew older, despite his achievements, building a successful accounting firm and a property management company from the ground up, he was haunted through his life by the low self-esteem and lack of confidence that he had installed during his childhood. It wasn't until a mere 4 years ago that he discovered his life's purpose, helping others to never feel the way that he had been made to feel. Drexwell and his wife Joanna live in the Turks and Caicos Islands with their 5 children. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Drexwell Seymour to the Pathways to Success stage.
Welcome to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, of course, Dr. Michael Hunter, with Mr. Drexel Seymour from the beautiful island of Turks and Caicos. Um, Great having you on Pathway to Success, Mr. Seymour, this evening.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Likewise, please tell us about yourself and really what do you do for a living?
Sure. Well, I am professionally, I'm a certified public accountant. I grew up on a very small island in the Turks and Caicos called South Caicos, and I left when I was 16, and I returned home and started working with some accounting firms, and eventually becoming the CEO of the telephone company. But then in 2013, I formed my own accounting firm. And then late in life, I, discovered my purpose, which is to inspire, to encourage and influence people. However, growing up wasn't easy. Even in my adult life, I suffered a lot from inferiority complex. But thankfully, I'm over that now. And I just want to share my story and to encourage others to rise up and take their position.
Um, you're the creator of short films. Please tell us about about rise up and take your position.
Sure. So I wrote a book, and the book is called Rise Up and Take Your Position. So what I did in order to have the message more meaningful and impactful for the book, I produced along with a local producer. We created a film called Rise Up. Nobody's better than you, and so that it was more about colorism. Growing up, being very dark skinned and being treated differently among your own black race. And so the short film was to demonstrate the impact of colorism, but in the end, you still became somebody despite what you thought you're not going to be. And I also I also wrote a song called Rise Up and Take Your Position. So the Rise Up and Take Your Position is something that, I want to encourage people to get up, because a lot of people are just waiting for the perfect time or waiting for the perfect person. So the whole idea is to encourage people to get up and pursue their talents. And so that's where the Rise Up came from.
Well, what I like about you, you're a successful entrepreneur, you're an author, I'm sure you're a producer of a film, but you also write a song, and plus you're a husband and a father. How do you
Yes.
balance all of these hats? As a matter of fact, who knows? Can you sing very well? Because you
No, no,
wrote.
I can't sing. I
I
can't.
may just ask you to do a cappella of that song for
No,
the show this evening.
I can't sing well. I can't sing well. I
Can
wrote the
sing
song, but someone else sang it.
but that, but did you have a mentor while growing up to give you guide, any form of guidance or advice? Who was your role model?
My mentor was this gentleman from Ohio. So when I left Turks and Caicos, I was 16, as was mentioned in the biography. And I lived with a family for about a week before I went to the campus. And this family was Mr. Saunders. And he probably didn't know this at that time, but he is my mentor. I watched the way he was a husband to his wife, how he was a father to his children, how he was involved in the community, how he celebrated milestones with their families. And all those things impacted me because I didn't see these things when I was growing up. And so when I became a father, when I became a husband, I emulated what he did. So he's my mentor, Bruce Saunders.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's a great way to find a mentor too.
Yes.
In all that you navigate yourself in. You have managed properties. You are an author, as an author also, CEO, talk show host, and all of these things. It's amazing that you're able to balance all of these things that you do. But how would you inspire persons today in their everyday life how to overcome obstacles that may come their way?
That's a very good question because I believe that we all face obstacles, and sometimes we allow those obstacles to become stumbling blocks in our lives, like what happened to me. And so I would encourage people by letting them know to not to focus on the obstacle itself, but to learn from the obstacle. I mean, ask yourself what it is that um, I'm experiencing. What is this trying to tell me? And recognize that obstacles will always come in your way. But those obstacles doesn't necessarily mean they're obstacles. I believe that they are pathway, they are opportunities to success. And so that's what we need to do is stop focusing on the thing that is holding you back and look at it as something that's going to make you reach your destination. That's what I advise people. That's what happened to me.
Great. What on your talk show? What are some of the topics that you have addressed normally in your talk show to help the community and the island at large?
Okay, so I have the Financially Speaking show and I have the YouTube channel. So for the Financially Speaking, we address um, financial management, personal funds, management of company funds. We also address government finances. Um, we basically cover any area dealing with finance. We would deal with pensions. We deal with the banks. We'll have guests the banks on to explain to customers how it works. So it's a variety of discussions and topics that we have on the Financially Speaking show. Now for the YouTube is very diverse. We cover a lot of it are persons who have gone through so many struggles in their lives and being able to overcome it. Persons who are so depressed. We have talked with persons who have been married for years, giving marital advice. We've talked to young people who consider committing suicide. So it's a variety of inspirational stories on the YouTube channel.
Wow, powerful. That's powerful. And can you give our viewers any tips on what they can do to build financial wealth? Because you're a man versed in that area. While I was listening to you talk, I was just thinking about maybe I should have you as my accountant.
Hey, why not? Why not?
I should have you come over to West Palm Beach, Florida.
That'll
But
be
can
nice.
what are some of the tips that you can give us today for those who are watching this live show on how to build financial wealth?
Sure. Well, the first thing I would advise persons is do not spend what you don't have. What happened is a lot of us, we see things being advertised, or we see other people with things that we want the same as them, and so we get these credit cards and we just go and purchase things, and we end up spending more than we could afford. And so I would tell them to eliminate the credit cards and just spend with what you have. And the second tip is focus on your needs. A lot of times we focus so much on our wants, and those wants are not things that we really need. And so we need to focus on the needs, which is our basic needs, food and shelter. And we also need to be focusing on branding. A lot of us we focus too much on brands. And I know sometimes with the brands it perhaps means more quality, but not necessarily so. You could get generic products that will offer you the same solutions as brands. And so they were the main things I would advise people to. And another point is to be comfortable with what you have. A lot of us are not happy with what we have, and we end up going beyond, living beyond our means.
So, as a financial controller or CPA, you would advise people stay out of Louis Vuitton's, Gucci, not on a
Yes,
consistent
definitely,
basis.
definitely.
Stay away from just frolicking in buying just clothes, which has no value in the long run. But invest our money in worthwhile investments like properties.
Yeah, real estate for sure. I mean, you
What are some
can't
of
go
the
wrong with
investments?
investing in real estate.
Yeah, what are some of the investments you would suggest to us this evening for our viewers watching?
Well, the main thing for me, I mean, I do not invest in stocks. I am not that um, versed in that area, so I don't invest in the stocks. Of course, if you want a longer return, you perhaps should invest in stocks, but not for short-term gains. If you want something long-term, then the stock market is something that you should invest in. My main advice for investing really is real estate. That is one thing that does not depreciate. Real estate appreciates. Um, Even right here in Turks and Caicos right now, it's becoming not affordable for many people. But if they could invest in real estate, they cannot go wrong with that. And once they invest in real estate, they could develop properties on it, whether it's condos, whether it's apartments. But real estate is the main and advice that I would give people to invest in. And when you do it in a great area. Don't just invest in any place. You want return on your money. You want to make sure who your neighbors are, and so invest in a great area as well. Unless you plan to invest in another area and try to enhance it, but you want to invest in an area where your value will be also enhanced.
Okay. Not invest in Ferraris,
No,
Lamborghinis.
no. I mean, some people do that. Some people invest. I know someone who said they invest in watches and they turn around, they just sell it more for a higher price. It's up to you as an individual. I personally would advise that. I would advise the real estate market.
What about gold as a CPA? What about gold?
Oh, for sure, you can invest in gold. For sure, yes. But to me, the main thing is real estate,
Real estate.
based on my personal experience. Of course, to each his own.
Right. Right. What is your greatest passion in business? You do have a wide portfolio, but what is your favorite area to work in?
You know, I honestly I like the property management. I just love that field. Even though I'm a professional accountant, I like working in property management better, because I see we were making a difference in customers. I see with my personality, we try to ensure that, customers are satisfied, especially when they leave remarks and reviews. To me, that's my greatest satisfaction, is making customers happy. Of course, it can happen in the accounting field as well, but it's more visible in the property management.
Now, say for instance, I'm visiting the Turks and Caicos Island. On which side of the island would you suggest for me being a tourist or a investor to purchase a property?
Well, the good thing about Turks and Caicos, well, first of all, we have several islands. I currently live on the island of Provo, where most people are coming to invest. You can invest on any island. The other islands are cheaper than Providenciales, but Provo is where most people are. So most people right now are investing in the Grace Bay area, which is located on Grace Bay Beach, which is 12 miles, and it's like the number one beach in the world. So that's an area that most people are investing. They're buying the condos, they are building villas, and they're getting a significant return on their investment. But of course, you can invest anywhere on the island. Important thing is people know where you are, and once you promote your business, it doesn't matter really where you are.
Well, we're going to take a short break with Mr. Drexwell Seymour, and we're going to come right back to Pathway to Success.
Thank you.
The Wealthy Seasons Prayer Book by Dr. Stacey Ann Schooler is packed with prayers that bind the works of the enemy and loose the prosperity of God in your life. Are you ready for a paradigm shift in your prayer life? The Wealthy Seasons Prayer Book by Dr. Stacey Ann Schooler is available for purchase on Amazon.com. Get your copy of the Wealthy Seasons Prayer Book by Dr. Stacey Ann Schooler today on Amazon.com. Or call 312-659-9916.
Wow.
Drexwell Seymour is a certified public.
Welcome to another segment of the Drexwell Seymour Show. Today is a special show because I'll be talking about me. I'm Drexwell. I am a certified public accountant. But you know what I really enjoy? More than accounting, believe it or not. I enjoy writing. And because I enjoy writing so much, I wrote this book. And this book is called Rise Up and Take Your Position. And in this book, it's mainly about how I was able to rise up. I suffered from inferiority complex. I suffered from low self-esteem. I suffered from depression. I don't like how I look. I didn't like being dark. I wish I was light-skinned. And because of my feelings, it kept me down. And I know many people out there are in the same position. And they are just down. They're not doing what they were called to do. And that is why in this book will guide you how to rise up and take your position. Because all of us were created for a purpose. You're not a mistake. Think of me. Came from a little small island in South Caicos. My father was a carpenter, my mom was working at a fishery plant. And here I am today, trying to inspire you to make a difference in your life. And you can rise up and take your position. Now, even though I dedicate this book to persons suffering from inferiority complex and low self-esteem, it's not just for those individuals. It's for those who are not suffering from it as well. Because there are individuals who do not have low self-esteem, but they are not cultivating the gift that God has given them for whatever reason. Some of them are in the comfort zone. Some of them don't even know they have a gift. And this is what this book is going to tell you, that each person has a gift. Find it, cultivate it. And when you do those things, rise up and take your position. This book has 12 chapters. It's available on Amazon. It's only 95 pages.
12 chapters. The first chapter, I gave you the titles. The first chapter is Finding Your Faith Enough to Fulfill Your Purpose. Finding your faith. And faith is the key, actually. You have to believe. The giants in your life. Some of you are experiencing giants, and that's why you're not rising up, because of all these giants in your life. But if you find the faith, you could overcome those giants. And then rise up, stand your ground. That's chapter 3. Once you are able to face the giants in your life, you should be able to rise up and stand your ground. Chapter 4, I could do it. You could do it. We could do it. You have to believe that you could do it. Chapter 5, you are talented. As I said initially, at the beginning of the show, everybody has a gift. There's a gift inside of you, and this is what this chapter is going to talk about. Chapter 6, failures are opportunities. Now, in your journey and in your pursuit of your calling, you'll experience some failures. But don't give up. Learn from them. They are opportunities. Look at failures as opportunities. That's what chapter 6 is about. Chapter 7, find your purpose. You may be in a career, a 9-to-5 job. You may think that's your purpose, but that's not really your purpose. Your purpose might be different from your career. And this is what chapter 7 is about. And then chapter 8, accessing the greatest power of all. You are powerful. You have more power than you think you have. Access it and use it. The future is great. You know, once you discover your gift, man, the future is great. Limitless. You have so much potential. Because the future is great, you have discovered your purpose. Chapter 10, the title is God Will Make a Way. That is what it all boils down to the very first chapter, which say finding your faith. If you have faith, then in chapter 10, you know God will make a way. And if you know that God will make a way, you'll rise up and take your position. And then chapter 11, we are all one in Christ. And this is very, very critical to you. Because some of you believe that people are better than you. And that's what I thought. I thought that people were better than me because I was very dark skinned. I thought people that were light skinned, people that were white were better than me. But when you realize that we all one, or you get so excited. When you realize that nobody's better than you, you will get up and you will take your position in this world. And the final chapter, which is the shortest chapter in this book, is chapter 12. This chapter just have suggestions on what you need to do to get off your seat. Because you might say, I don't know where to start. But this chapter is probably, you can even start from this chapter if you want to. But it tells you the different things you need to do to get up. Well, now that I've given you a summary of this book, as I said, it's available on Amazon. I hope that this book inspires you. I hope that it encourages you to rise up and take your position. You are a world changer. You are created. You were created for a purpose. Find it. Go for it.
Welcome back to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter, with Mr. Drexwell Seymour. And we just had a clipping of his a video of his books, the topics, and I really enjoy that. I'm gonna really need to get a copy of your book. Where if anyone's interested in getting your book, where can we get your book?
It's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's available. Yeah, it's
Okay,
for 19.99.
1999. I
But
think
you
I
can
can.
also get the Kindle, which is 9.99.
Okay. I would suggest anyone that's worth investing in, because I just listened to some of the things on that 6 minutes video, what you were saying, and really it's worthwhile investing in. Tell us about the principles that have kept you grounded so far in life.
So, when I was growing up, my grandmother was a Christian, and so I was very close with her, and so I believe in God, and that was the main thing that kept me going, believing in God, even though I experienced inferiority complex, I experienced depression, but subconsciously I believed that God was going to take me out of this situation. And so I grew up on the principle of faith. I had faith. I didn't know how long it's going to take, but I believe that one day that God is going to take me out of this misery that I was experiencing, and He did. It took many years, but He did, and that's what kept me going, is having faith. And then the second thing, when I realized that nobody is better than me, because there are times when I thought that I was insignificant. I thought that people were better than me, and when I realized that God has created me for a purpose, that's what keep me now for the past 5 or 6 years. That keeps me growing every day, knowing that I have a purpose to fulfill. I'm not a mistake. That God has me here on this earth for something to do.
That's very powerful. I like that. Um,
Thank you.
how, how can you're a motivational speaker, and you have you have a strong faith in God. How can
Yes,
someone overcome inferiority complex? Tell us.
this inferiority complex is very difficult. I will tell you this, that I suffered from inferiority complex for about 40 years. I'm 52 now. So I suffered for more than 40 years from inferiority complex, and I kept everything to myself. I think in order to overcome it, we must first, speak to someone that you trust. Let them know what you're going through. And I believe once you're able to talk to someone that you trust, they'll be able to guide you. And just listening to videos or reading books like the book I wrote, I think that will help people to overcome inferiority complex. But I think the main thing in overcoming inferiority complex is that we must stop comparing ourselves to other people. I think we're spending most of our lives, most of our time trying to be like somebody else. And we have to recognize that we are unique, that we're not like anybody else. So when we reach that point in our lives, knowing that we're not like anybody, we don't have to compare anybody, that's one of the things that you could do to overcome inferiority complex. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to overcome fear. I think fear is the greatest obstacle in our lives. It will cause you to become depressed. It would cause you to stay home and not do anything. It will cause you not to sit on your talent and not because you're afraid to take risks. It will force you just to be at standstill. And so, in order to overcome, if you overcome fear, you're able to develop and build your confidence level. And if you are able to become confident in yourself, you could overcome anything. You could overcome inferiority complex, you could overcome fear, you could overcome anything. And that is the key, is to become confident in what you do and who you are.
I like that. Um, did you ever feel like giving up? I mean, I know you've spoken about depression and inferiority, inferior complex, but you ever feel like giving up during those days? But what kept you afloat during those
There are
dark
many,
moments?
sorry,
Yes.
very often I felt like giving up. And there were times when I had, negative thoughts and thinking the worst. But honestly, I think the love for my mother. I said, what if I do something that is out of the way, and my mother will be so depressed, she'll be so sad. And so I always thought about, if I do something, if I give up, I will impact my mother, I will impact other people, and they will end up suffering. And so that's what keeps me from not giving up when I think about the love of my mom.
Wow, that's very powerful.
Yeah.
Um, why should someone be realistic about their limitation, and when should they push the harder?
You know, first of all, I believe that whatever you experience is limitless. And I know we'll have limitations in life, but if you are sure of your calling, if you are sure this is what God wants you to do, then you need to push. You need to push despite the obstacles in your way, because sometimes the very time you give up is the time that your breakthrough may come through. And so now, if you're not sure of your calling, or if you're doing things because you see other people doing things, then you need to, that you have limitations. Because you're doing things because you see other people do it, or because you think it makes a lot of money. But when you know that you are doing what you were called to do, then you need to keep pushing and keep pushing, because it will happen. It will take place.
I like that. Um, it's amazing because you're an inspiration for
Thank
one
you.
who have struggled with depression, inferiority complex, and today you are a winner. You're author of two books.
One book.
What is it? One book. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm a film, short film, and you have a podcast which you motivate so many people, and you're a property manager, and you have worked with I think it was AT&T Cable and Wireless.
Cable Wireless. Mhm.
Cable and Wireless. What's next for you? You have, even though the odds were against you earlier on in life, but you still came out on top. Is it your faith? You mentioned your mother. I remember your mother. You mentioned your mother.
Mhm.
But also, what's the other other things that really kept you? I know you mentioned your mother. What's the other thing that kept you going?
Oh
That
well,
you,
I mean, definitely my faith, because even though I was not a Christian growing up early, but I fear God, and so because of the fear of God, that what kept me going, because I felt if I do something contrary to the word of God, something is going to happen, something bad is going to happen to me. And so, because of the fear of God, I just kept moving, and I kept, pushing myself, kept, going by its business each day, because I fear God. And if I fear God, then I want to make sure I do things that line up um, with His word. And then the other thing, because I have a family, I have my wife, and we have 5 children, and I want to be an example to them. I want to make sure that, whatever I do, that I live by an example, and that they will be able to, follow my footsteps, not necessarily do the same thing I do, but to follow the principles that I do. And so that's what keeps me going. And then finally, because of what I suffered, I believe that there are thousands of people who are suffering, and they don't know what to do. And I feel that it's our duty to help other people. And so it keeps me, that's what I want to do. I just want to go and encourage people. I just want to go and inspire people. I just want to lift people up, because the world is full of chaos. The world is full of suffering. And it's because we are not happy with ourselves. We are comparing ourselves to others. And so, because I went through that, I want to be able to inspire other people, and inform them what I went through, so they know that they could overcome any situation. And I believe that you can overcome anything in life. And so that's my plan. My plan is to just go around and just have, workshops, seminars, and just encourage people to rise up. That's what I want to do.
Do you see yourself going outside of your beautiful island into other islands and into the great Americas, other nations, with this message of
Oh,
hope?
for sure. I mean, that's my vision. I just want to go throughout the entire world, inspiring people and encouraging people. That's what I want to do. I believe that's what I was called to do.
What's next for you? There's so many things because while I'm talking to you, you're a great motivator. You're inspiration. You have a big heart. You know, with what you've been through. You're bold to share it with others, to help others. That's an act of unselfish love, right?
Mhm.
What's next for you? I would be surprised if one day somebody called me and said, let's interview Mr. Drexel Seymour. Again, he's now a pastor of a church. I would be, you'll be surprised that that could be, who knows? I'll be surprised that could be the next thing somebody could say to me, you know what? Mr. Drexwell, sorry, Seymour, Mr. Seymour that you interviewed on Pathway to Success, now a pastor. I said, I'll be surprised. But
I
what's
don't
next
know.
for you?
I don't know. I don't know the future lies. I don't know if I'm called to be a pastor, but I know definitely I'm called to, to speak to individuals. But I will tell you what's next for me is, I don't know if you know this, but I'm on dialysis. And I've been on dialysis now for, 5.5 years. And so I'm hoping that that I could be healed or get a kidney transplant because I do dialysis 3 days a week, 4 hours each time, and sometimes it can be very, very depressing. And I'm just hoping that I could find a kidney donor and get this kidney transplant so that I'm free to travel as much as I can. Right now, my travel is restricted because wherever you go, you have to find a dialysis center, and so I don't travel as much outside Turks and Caicos. But I'm hoping that's my plan is to be healed and then just go and travel as much as I want to.
Well, we are coming in agreement with you on that one for your healing, Mr. Seymour.
Thank you
The God that you believe in will heal you. You
in
surely
Jesus' name.
will. And
Yes,
that there'll be right now, even as you're on pathway to success, who knows, maybe a kidney donor is watching. And
Hmm.
after hearing your inspirational story that has inspired so many of us this evening on this platform, that person will reach out to us right here on Pathway to
Amen.
Success so we can connect you both together. I think
Amen.
we're gonna I'm gonna ask my producer for us to do a drive on that to try to
Oh wow, thank you.
locate someone here that is willing to donate to the longevity of your days because you're a great man. I believe that you're one of the angels that God has put on earth to inspire others and to motivate others to the next level. And
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining us on Pathway to Success and
Thank
sharing
you.
this incredible, amazing story. Love to speak to you after our broadcast. But anyway, how can our viewers reach you? How can they um, reach out to you if they want to reach out to you anyway?
Well, I have a website. It's www.drexwellseymour.com. They can reach me there. It's a contact email. They could email me through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What an
Well, thank
inspiration.
you.
We're heard it from Mr. Drexwell Seymour. Inspirational, motivator, one who has inspired us to the next level, one who came up from a child background of, you mentioned the word colorism,
Yeah.
depression, infirmity, and today he is a success story. Today you can be just like him, a winner. Today you can also face the challenges that you have been facing with a strong heart, knowing that if you believe in God, God will make you a winner. Have a great week from us here at Pathway to Success. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining.